great Center Grove Trojan volleyball coach for many, many years. And this past week, they honored her team, the 2000 state championship team. It's hard to believe it's now the 20th anniversary of that great team. And Coach Deb McClurg now joins us. Deb, first of all, thanks for taking time for being on our halftime show.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just sorry I'm not there to watch the game.
It's a fantastic effort by Coach Moore and the Trojans tonight. But, Deb, let's go back in time a little bit. Back in 2000, what a great, great team that you had. And, Deb, right now we're showing a picture of your state championship team here on the monitor, winning the 4A state championship. What a great run and great season you had back in 2000, Coach McClurg.
Oh, my goodness. I just had some terrific kids, and I can't be more proud of them and what they've turned into. But, boy, what a story back then. And as good as they were back then, they're as good as young women today, very successful in their professions. We've got teachers, bankers, coaches, doctors, nurses, artists, mothers, and I just couldn't be more proud, and they will always be a very special group to me.
And, Deb, we're now looking at a picture of your team, those that were able to come back, your coaching staff and your players. What a great event that was this past Wednesday night. And to see the Trojans win that night, and a great one against McCutcheon after being down 2 sets.
Yeah, it was a nice comeback, and I'd like to thank Scott Knapp for pulling that together, and again, just seeing all the people, players, and we even had our scores table back then. Marcine Hensley, Cindy Cullum, and Cindy Heckel, they've been with us for 20 years as well, and they were there at the game, and so it was just really fun to see the kids and the assistant coaches, Ann Gandalf, Amy Winkler. So, like I said, it's a very special group, and to see the whole crew together that night was wonderful.
Again, we're visiting with Deb McClurg via the cell phone here tonight. Again, honoring her 2000 volleyball state championship team in Class 4A. And, Deb, let's talk about that state championship game. I believe you were playing a 3-time defending champ Muncie Central, and I know I talked to Jennifer Gandalf-Hawk about this, and she felt like, yeah, we're the #1 team in the state, but again, we're playing the great Muncie Central team. We did not feel like we were the #1 seeded team. We felt like the underdog in that state finals.
Well, we've been there, and I've always said you've got to get your foot in the door, and we were there the year before, so I felt that helped us going into it. Just made the girls a little more hungry, and for those people who weren't there, I think the football people, if you were at the 2008 comeback game, you would appreciate that was very similar to our game, being down 14-7 in the last game and making a comeback run and actually winning. So trying to bring the football fans in on this to kind of realize that it was just unbelievable.
Also, Deb, you kind of told me a nice little story. You said you remember the PA announcer talking about, telling the crowd to stay off the court, and you noticed they're starting to put up the ropes around the court. Tell us that great story and how your team then rallied to win it.
Well, I'll tell you, the announcer did make the announcement that to stay off the floor at the end of the game, and the score was 14-7, and all of a sudden it was almost like the girls turned and looked at the scorekeeper, and by golly, they just dug down and just decided that wasn't going to happen. And it was just ironic that we turned it around right after he said that. And I'm going to make another note. I turned around and saw Carol Toomey, who, what a pioneer for our girls' sports here at Center Grove. And she was sitting behind me, I think maybe to consult me that it was a great season. And, we just weren't going to have it. And just so very proud that the girls made that comeback, and it was very, very memorable, obviously for me, but for a whole crew.
And then, Deb, you had such great support that day or that night for the championship. A lot of red and white in the crowd supporting the Lady Trojans that night.
Well, I'll tell you what, there isn't any better community than Center Grove, and you're correct. When we walked in the gym, it was a sea of red. and I can't thank the community enough. And there's still support here at Center Grove, and the parental support that I had during that time was just phenomenal. And I just get goosebumps thinking about it.
And also, I understand you guys, I believe, may have had a police escort back to what was then the West Gym, the main gym at Center Grove, and you guys, I believe, had a big pep rally following the match back here at Center Grove, and again, a big turnout for the pep rally.
Absolutely, that goes back to the community and the fire department. Everybody was involved, and I'm so proud to be part of this community. And the girls have talked and have messaged me after that night about how special those times were and how close these girls still are today.
Well, Deb McClurg, thank you for taking time to kind of take us back to the year 2000 and what was just a splendid year for your volleyball team to win the Class 4A state championship. And especially, like you mentioned, it's very similar to what we did in football in 2008 in that fourth quarter, the great comeback against Carmel. You guys did the same thing here late against Muncie Central to win that state title. And it was just great to, again, for that Scott Knapp and the volleyball program was able to recognize you and your coaches and your team this past Wednesday with the McCutcheon match. I thought that was fantastic. And I know anytime you can have that for any state championship, that's just a great thing. And it's hard to believe, Coach, it's been 20 years.
Oh, my goodness. It is hard to believe it went fast. As a matter of fact, one of my players, I have her son in my class. So, that puts things in perspective. But, like I said, Trojans never give up. And I wish Eric good luck tonight, which sounds like they're on their way for another win. And just proud of our community.
Well, Deb, thank you for everything that you've done for Center Grove Sports, in particular the volleyball program, and thank you for taking time to kind of go down memory lane and revisit that 2000 state championship team.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you very much. Deb McClurg joined us here at halftime via the cell phone, and appreciate her time, and what a great memory that was for that great team in 2000. And now joining me is her nephew, Eric McClurg, who is the Bantam president here at Center Grove, and I guess you could say it's the all McClurg halftime show. But Eric, that's great to talk to Deb. She's such an integral part of Center Grove athletics, and with volleyball, I know she was assistant coach with softball and some other sports, but just a special coach, not only for Center Grove, but the state of Indiana.
Yeah, I was at that game, and I'll never forget that game. It was the junior year when we were runner-up that year, so it was a really awesome fall for Center Grove. But I was at that game, and it was absolutely what she said. It was unbelievable. Again, one of the best games I've ever been in any sport. But Aunt Deb's been an important part of my life and my brother's. She used to coach college basketball, and we'd see her probably once a year, if that. And we could not wait for that year. And that was always Christmas, and she'd come, and we'd have a blast up there in Muncie at my grandparents' house. So yeah, she's been an important part of our lives for sure.
Well, Eric, like I mentioned, you're the Center Grove Bantam Football League president. We